Project Search. Hello, it's Danny again, and today I have a presentation for you about what to do when you think you need to switch jobs. Switching jobs is a pretty common experience for people. Most people don't keep the same jobs throughout their career. This presentation just gives you some basics about how to handle that when it does happen. Pay close attention. This information will turn up on a quiz. Project Search UTMC Remote Learning, what to do when you decide to change jobs. Most people will change jobs at least once during their working lives. There are many reasons people make the decision to leave one job and take another. Whatever the reason for making such a change, there are certain steps that are very important to take when doing so. Why leave your current job? One reason would be environmental factors. For example, if you work at a job like, say, a car wash, and you start to kind of get a little tired or burned out on the idea of having to work in an environment where you have to get wet and deal with water, and it's kind of a messy job. Or perhaps you're tired of having to go to the office and work inside all day. Maybe you don't like the lighting. Maybe you don't like the fact that it has to be very quiet. Or on the other side, maybe you have to work outdoors and it's starting to get to the point that it's wearing you out. You don't want to have to deal with extreme weather anymore. You don't like having to sweat or feeling cold and so on. These are just some of the environmental factors that might prompt someone to start looking for a new job. Also, people are motivated to find new jobs because they might want to get better pay, better benefits, or perhaps more time off. Different jobs will pay you at different rates. They'll offer different benefits, and they'll also vary on the amount of time off that you can get in a given year. Often people switch jobs and move to a job where they get paid more and or their benefits are better. Maybe they also find that a different employer offers more time off through the year, and that's very appealing for them. Desire to try something new. In the picture, you see someone learning how to shear a sheep. You may never want to shear a sheep, but odds are at some point you'll become curious about a task and think that maybe it could be the kind of thing that you would really enjoy doing and really be good at. So that can be a big motivator for people, just that desire to get out and try something new and challenge themselves in that way. Something to think about. If you think you want to find a different job, first ask yourself, have I tried my best to make my current job a good experience for myself? If your answer is yes, then that means you did the following things. It means that you did your best to overcome challenges. You faced challenges that you were having that may have caused you frustration, and you've done your best to overcome those. You requested an accommodation if you needed one. You consulted your job coach for advice and assistance with any issues. Remember that as part of Project Search, you will receive follow-along assistance from your job coach for some period of time. So make sure that you take advantage of that accommodation. Discuss the matter with family members or others you trust. Having people in our lives who we trust, whether it's family members or close friends, is a wonderful thing because we can share with them our concerns, including concerns we might have about our job. So share your concerns with them and let them help you figure out what to do and let them help you figure out if indeed finding a new job is the right thing for you to do. So you've done your best to enjoy your current job. You've asked for help from your job coach. You've requested and received any accommodation you might have needed. You've talked about the matter with people you were close with, and you were definitely ready to find a new job. Well, what then? First, You will need to search for a new job. Do not quit your current job until you have been offered a new job. You will have to search for, apply to, and be interviewed for a job before you get an offer, just like you had to the first time around when you were looking for a job. This can take a while, so you will have to be patient. And of course, you will have to conduct your job search during your time off from your current job. It could get very tiring. Really, if you think about all the things that go into searching for a job, including submitting applications, resumes, going to job interviews, that's a lot of work to do. So you've really got to be motivated in order to really get all that done and keep going to your current job and fulfilling your responsibilities there. During your job search, do your best to look for jobs that will better fit your needs than your current job does. For example, if you want to change jobs because your current job requires you to sit down for long periods of time, and you want a job that allows you to move around most of the time, then make sure the jobs you apply for will meet that need. I just used the example of sitting versus being able to move around and stand and walk. There are a lot of different things that you might be looking for to change when you go from one job to the next. Make sure the ones you're looking for are meeting those needs and wants. When you receive a job offer that meets the requirements you had in mind, you should give your current employer 2 weeks notice. That means you should not simply go to your current employer and say, "I quit." Tell your new employer that you will be available to start working for them in 2 weeks and give your current employer a written letter of resignation. Why give 2 weeks notice, you might ask yourself? Well, first of all, it's to be courteous to your coworkers. You will have probably become friendly with a lot of your coworkers at your current job. And think about the fact that if you just walk out and you don't give the proper 2 weeks notice, it's going to cause them to have to work harder. And they might not be very appreciative of that. So think about how they feel. Also, in the future, you may find yourself looking for another job yet again. And maybe the current employer who you're leaving, maybe they happen to have a job that you're really interested in. If you don't give your 2 weeks notice the first time you leave them, they may keep that in their records and consider you unrehirable, meaning there's no way they're going to have you come back because you didn't give your 2 weeks notice. So you could, in other words, be canceling out an opportunity that might have been really good for you. To maintain a good reputation. Quitting a job without giving the proper 2 weeks notice doesn't look good for you professionally. If you do this, especially if you do it more than once, people aren't going to want to hire you because they'll be thinking to themselves, great, I'll get this person on board and they'll be working for me, and then suddenly they're just going to up and quit one day. And people don't like that. You don't want to miss out on financial benefits. A lot of employers have a policy that says that if you give the proper 2 weeks notice, you will actually get paid in cash for some of the value of any of your vacation or sick time that you didn't use. But if you quit with no notice, they aren't going to pay you that. So if you have a lot of vacation time saved up or sick time saved up, you could be missing out on a lot of money. That's another good reason not to quit with no notice. You'll be able to use the employer as a good reference. There'll be a unit about references and just what they are coming up in the near future during Project Search. But suffice to say for now, it's really important to be able to use every employer you ever have as a reference for you so that they will be there to say good, positive things about you to future employers. And I'll explain how all that works when we get to it a little later on. Can you think of any other reasons people might change jobs in addition to the reasons given in the presentation? Can you think of additional reasons that it is good to give 2 weeks notice when switching to a new job? Be ready to share your answers with the group. I'm looking forward to discussing the material in this presentation with you and getting your thoughts about switching jobs and the 2 weeks notice concept, and anything else that may have struck you during this presentation as interesting or that raised questions for you. Goodbye.